guys, and welcome to Cooking with Fat Julie, where I share tips and tricks in the kitchen as well as quick and easy recipes. Today I'm going to show you how to shred chicken. Shredded chicken or pulled chicken can be used for many things like soups, salads, tacos. In this case I'm going to be using mine for a chicken pot pie. So let me just show you what I'm going to do. I've already cut up some onions and some garlic, and I'm also going to use half of a chicken broth cube. So I'm going to throw that in my pot. Now seriously, if you know a way to cut onions that doesn't make you cry, I'm interested, because I buy all of my fruit and vegetables at the farmer's market, and the onions that I get are super powerful. I swear I've tried just about everything. I've tried not opening my mouth when I cut them. I've tried chewing gum. I've tried putting them in the fridge beforehand. And for me, nothing is working. So please, please, if you know how to cut onions without having them sting your eyes, leave that in the comments for me below. So I'm just going to wiggle my pot, get all that stuff on the bottom. I'm going to put in my boneless, skinless chicken breasts. And I'm going to cover them with water. Now I want my chicken breasts to be covered, but not drowning. So I'm going to make them just covered in water. And I'm going to put the lid on, and I want that to simmer, not boil. Simmer. And I'm going to have the lid on to keep the moisture in. And I'm going to let that cook for about 45 to 60 minutes. I want to make sure that there's no pink left in my chicken. Now I'm also going to add whatever herbs and spices I want, so you can go ahead and add whatever you want. So I'm going to throw in a bay leaf, which in French is called feuille de laurier, which I found was really different, and when I was trying to find bay leaves I was having a big problem. So feuille de laurier, I'm going to throw one of those in there. I'm also going to throw in some parsley, which in French is called persil. I'm going to throw in a tiny little bit of thyme. We don't need a whole lot because it's pretty strong. And that is actually called the same thing in French. And the last thing I'm going to throw in is some oregano. Now you can throw in however much you want of whatever herbs and spices you like. I've already got some garlic and onions in there, so I'm not going to worry about that. And I'm not going to throw in any salt just yet, because I've noticed that when I use the bouillon cubes, they're pretty salty. So because I'm going to save my broth, I will taste it later and add salt if needed. So like I said, the last thing I'm going to do is add some water. I want to just cover that chicken. There we go. I'm going to turn on my heat and make sure that the chicken simmers and not boils. And I'm going to leave it for 45 to 60 minutes until all the pink is out. My chicken is now done, so I'm going to let it cool off a bit before I start playing with it with my bare hands and shred it or pull it. I wanted to mention that I forgot to say earlier to always use cold water when you're pouring it into the pot with poultry. Otherwise you're going to get some extra things in there like salmonella that you really don't want. I also want to mention that once my water heated up, I gave it a little stir just to make sure that everything was mixed, especially that little bouillon cube. And at this point, you're halfway to soup. So if you want, you can save some of that shredded chicken to throw into the broth and add some noodles or rice, maybe even some other vegetables, and you've got a soup. What I'm going to do, since I don't need my broth, is I'm going to freeze it for later for the next time I need some broth. Don't forget to remove your bay leaf if you put one in there, and I will come back once my chicken is cooled off and show you how to shred it. So my chicken is ready. I've taken it out of the pot and I'm just going to use my little hand mixer here to shred it. Keep it on low. Now my hand mixer on low is actually pretty powerful, but there you go. Now you've got some really quick, easy pulled or shredded chicken that you can throw in soups, salads, tacos, whatever it is you're making. In my case, a chicken pot pie. If you know of any other easy ways to make something that usually is quite difficult, please let me know down in the comments. Bon appétit!